Hi, total recap here. Today we will be going through the events of the 2011 action sci-fi movie In Time, directed by Andrew Niccol. Warning, this video contains spoilers, so watch at your own risk. Now let's get right into the movie. The movie starts in a futuristic world where the concept of paper money is non-existent. Instead, people trade goods and services with time. All humans stop aging after 25. But after turning 25, they will only have 1 year to live. To stop from dying, they have to earn more time, like earning money. A timer in everyone's forearm shows how much time they have before they die. Time is now the world currency. People who are rich are immortal, as they can buy as much time as possible. But the ones who are poor work hard every day just to increase a day or two in their lifetime. The rich hike the price of the living for the poor to collect more time and be immortal. The time gap between the rich and the poor is exponential, where the rich live for several millennia, but the poor struggle to survive. Will is a man living in the ghetto part of the country. He wakes up one day and notices that he has less than 24 hours to live. He has to earn more time as soon as possible. Will lives with his mother Rachel, who is 50 years old. She also has a mere 3 days left in her lifetime. The two have many bills due to pay, but the time they have is not enough. Will reassures his mother that he will figure something out. Rachel then tells Will she will be at work for 2 days so she can earn enough money to pay off their loan. When she comes back, she wants Will to be at the bus station so he can lend her some time. Lastly, Rachel hands him 30 minutes so he can pay for his lunch before Will leaves for work. On his way to work, Will is approached by a little girl named Maya. She asks Will for a minute and isn't happy when he hands her 5 minutes instead. Even on the verge of dying, Will is generous. He works at a factory that manufactures time-storing devices with his friend Boral. He works for the whole day and gets paid at the end, but when he looks at his time, he sees that it's lacking. He asks the distributor for full payment, but it turns out that the daily quota of work has increased and Will didn't reach his. A distressed Will heads to the bar, where he meets a drunk and happy Boral. Boral informs Will of a man named Henry who is buying drinks for everyone in the bar and has a century's worth of time on his wrist. Will notices the wealthy man and sees that some people are eyeing him weirdly. He goes to alert Henry, who refuses to leave. Then a group of Minutemen gangsters enter the bar asking everyone to leave. They are here to rob Henry. Will asks Burrell to run away and watches the commotion take place. The Minutemen's leader is named Fortis. A nauseous Henry runs to the bathroom and pukes as a Minuteman keeps an eye on him. Suddenly, Will barges in and knocks the man out. He then takes Henry with him and flees. As they run away, the Minutemen pursue them, but they manage to hide inside an abandoned building. The duo then introduces themselves to each other. Henry reveals that he is 105 years old and desires death. He has had enough of life and feels fatigued. Hence, he irrationally came to the bar not caring if he died. Will is annoyed at the man for being careless with time, as he and everyone he knows suffer so much to gain more of it. Henry then tells Will the harsh truth of their world. Rich people increase the cost of living frequently so they can take more time from the poor and be immortal. As poor people die, the rich get richer, when in reality, the world has enough time for everyone, but the greedy rich take them all. Will is shocked by the revelation and is frustrated because he cannot do anything. They spend the night at the abandoned place, and in the morning, Henry wakes up earlier. He gives all of his time to a sleeping Will, leaving himself with just 5 minutes. Will is shocked when he sees over a century's worth of time on his wrist. He then discovers Henry sitting on a nearby bridge. As Henry's time ends, he smiles and drops into the river. Will then goes to Burrell and sees him and his wife holding their newborn baby. Will takes Burrell aside and tells him about everything that happened the previous day. Will gives some of his time to Burrell. When asked what he wants to do now, Will replies that he wants to bring equality to the world and remove the gap between the rich and the poor. We see Burrell eye the bar nearby. Rachel, who has been working hard for the past 2 days, finally pays off her loan and goes to the bus stop, but she realizes that she doesn't have enough time to ride the bus. She starts to run back home in order to reach Will on time. Will also starts to run towards her. However, when they finally meet each other, Rachel falls dead in Will's arms. Will cries, mourning his mother's death, which could have been stopped by mere seconds. The following day, the police, known as the Timekeepers, discovers Henry's body in the river. The senior timekeeper named Raymond and his junior Jaeger investigate the case. In the following scene, we see Will inside a luxurious car in his new clothes. He is going to a rich neighborhood across the time zone border. He finally reaches the city of New Greenwich. In contrast to Will's town, New Greenwich is developed and exclusive. He starts to run, still used to his life with less time, but he soon calms himself and acts more sophisticated. He stays at a lavish hotel at night and wakes up in his expensive suit. For the first time in his life, he has a gourmet breakfast. After paying for the meal, he tips the waitress a week. The waitress comments that Will does everything a little too quickly than other customers. Meanwhile, the timekeepers get their hands on surveillance footage and find out about Will being related to Henry's death. As they gather more details about him, Raymond realizes that he knows Will's father. Will, on the other hand, enters a casino to gamble. There he meets a billionaire named Philippe Weiss and wins a few rounds of poker against him. Philippe has enos and enos of time left. He is basically immortal and can have any luxury in the world. After some more rounds, Will's lifetime amounts to over 2 centuries. Will turns his attention towards a girl sitting beside Philippe named Sylvia. As the table chats, Philippe talks about the gap between the poor and the rich and claims that the gap is natural. This angers Will, so when Philippe raises 2 more centuries, Will bids all of his time, leaving him with only 30 seconds. He wins that round and receives a millennium of a lifetime. Philippe is impressed and intrigued by Will's personality. He notices Will eyeing Sylvia and introduces her as his daughter. Philippe also invites him to a party at his mansion. Will purchases a new car to drive to Philippe's mansion. He doesn't know anyone there, but Sylvia approaches him and starts a conversation. As the two dance, Sylvia reveals to him about her meaningless life. She too is fed up with all the time she has like Henry. The duo then go outside to the beach and swim. When the two get back inside, the timekeepers arrive at the mansion looking for Will. They take Will to a private office where Raymond introduces himself. Will truthfully tells them how he acquired over a millennium's worth of time. Not believing Will's explanation, Raymond confiscates his time and arrests him. Will asks Raymond why he is investigating a suicide when so many murders take place in the ghetto every day. The statement reminds him of Will's father. Will then attacks the timekeepers and manages to hold Sylvia hostage. He escapes from the mansion along with Sylvia in his car. The timekeepers pursue him, but they manage to escape after hiding under a bridge. Will asks Sylvia for some time, but she refuses. In the morning, their car crashes while driving on the highway. Fortis and his men find the duo and steal Sylvia's time, leaving her with a mere 30 minutes. When they wake up, Will gives her a few minutes and the two run away to get some more time from Burrell. However, Burrell's wife informs them of his death due to alcohol poisoning. He had used all his time to buy an unlimited amount of alcohol. Will notices Sylvia's expensive earrings and takes her to a pawn shop. The dealer offers them 2 days for the jewelry and they take it. Will then calls Raymond and asks Philippe for a ransom of 1,000 years to be transferred to his city. At night, Will and Sylvia stay at Will's apartment and talk about several things. Will tells her of his father, who used to gamble time and share his earnings with the ones who needed it. After hearing each other's stories, the two start to fall in love with each other. In the morning, Will notices that Philippe has not kept his end of the deal. Sylvia is disappointed by her father and finally realizes how greedy he is. Will takes Sylvia to a telephone booth and gives her a gun as a farewell gift. He plans to let her return to the city. The two kiss before parting. Sylvia is talking to her father on the phone when Raymond approaches Will. Sylvia sees this and shoots the timekeeper. Will sees a bleeding Raymond and gives him some time to save him. They take the timekeeper's car and drive away. On their way, they rob a car from a couple and drive away in it. The news about their escape is broadcasted on television. Sylvia says that she doesn't want to go back to her boring life. The two kiss. Philippe is in his office with his partners and assures them he didn't pay the ransom. Will and Sylvia decide to steal time from a loaning establishment and distribute it among the people. They board a truck and crash through a glass plane. The two steal several time-storing devices and encourage the people at the establishment to do the same. Later, Will distributes the time among everyone who needs it. Meanwhile, Fortis sees a billboard with Will and Sylvia's picture that promises a reward of 10 years to capture them. At night, Will and Sylvia are in their hotel room where the timekeepers find them. The couple escapes through the window and gets in a chase with Raymond. A shootout ensues as they make their way up to the roof and manage to board a running bus. At the same time, Fortis finds out about Will and Sylvia's whereabouts by threatening a man. He then goes to the motel where Will and Sylvia are staying at. Fortis gives Will a chance to save his life and challenges him to a strong arm match. Will struggles to win but manages to turn the game around at the last moment. Then he kills all of Fortis's men and transfers all of Fortis's time to himself. Will and Sylvia are now on the rooftop seeing the prices of everything rising in the market. Their heist has caused the rich to raise the prices and maintain the gap between them and the poor. A little heist like that won't make a difference and only a million years will. Sylvia devises a plan. The following day, Philippe has a group of bodyguards surrounding him when they notice Sylvia nearby. Will, who has been posing as a bodyguard, points his gun at Philippe and takes him hostage. They take Philippe to his office where he has a time-storing device with 1,000,000 years in it. Philippe tries to explain that there will always be someone willing to sacrifice for a shot at immortality. An angered Will almost shoots the man dead, but composes himself and claims that immortality is not worth the life of even a single individual. As the duo leaves, the timekeeper's vehicles barricade the highway. They shoot their car, but the couple comes out of the chaos unharmed. They arrive at the ghetto while still being followed by Raymond. He hits their car, causing it to crash. Will gets out of the vehicle and hands the little girl Maya the time-storing device. He asks her to distribute the time to the people before she runs away. The couple gets into a car and the chase continues. They finally clash in the middle of the road. Raymond then reveals that he too is from the ghetto and has worked his way up to escape poverty. But he believes that the gap between the rich and the poor has to be maintained for society to run smoothly. Suddenly, Raymond's time goes up and falls dead on the ground. The duo only have seconds left. They run towards Raymond's car and receive their time for one more day. Then we see the people from ghettos crossing the borders into expensive zones with more facilities. The officials in the watch as the societal hierarchy collapses. Sylvia and Will stand in front of a time bank ready for their next heist. That was my recap of the movie, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now comment on what your favorite part was, and make sure to hit the like button, leave your thoughts, comments down below, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, this has been Total Recapped.